When bad allergies hit, trust Claritin to keep you in the game. Nothing is proven more effective for 24-hour non-drowsy allergy relief in one pill. Live Claritin Clear.
I'm the richest guy in the world. I have time to give.
I have people I can count on.
And a million stories to share.
The key to being rich is knowing what counts.
Trying on glasses using Warby Parker's virtual try-on is so lifelike, so realistic, that you might not even be able to tell what's real from what's virtual. Yep, it's that good. Virtually try on hundreds of styles at warbyparker.com.
Do you need full coverage health insurance for you and your family at little or no cost? Call RateQuote now to explore full coverage health insurance plans for adults aged 18 to 65 who make more than $22,000 a year. This is not Medicaid or Medicare. This is the healthcare marketplace with the largest selection of subsidized plans through the Affordable Care Act. One call to RateQuote could save you thousands. Agents are standing by. Call now.
Debby hit Florida's Gulf Coast this morning before moving across the state.
Hurricane Debby, it has made landfall near Steinhatchee as of 7 a.m. this morning,
bringing heavy rain and power outages. Our team of storm reporters are spread across Florida and Georgia to show you the impact and tell your stories.
My husband is a medically challenged man right now, and needing the help that he needs, we need our power.
Now at 5, this is continuing coverage of Debby.
Live at 5. CBS 47 Fox 30 Action News Jax begins with First Alert Weather.
And we're taking a live look at the St. Augustine Pier. The Action Jax First Alert Weather team tracking Debby's movements. The ocean looking angry, like a washing machine this afternoon. And of course, another concern tonight is high tide. I'm Ben Becker.
And I'm Tamika Hughes. We are here with First Alert Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish, along with First Alert Meteorologist Corey Sima as well. You've been at work for hours tracking Debby and just got the latest track.
We did an updated track. No real surprises, you guys. And Corey, I think you'll agree here. It's a weakening tropical storm. Over land, it's lost its source of energy, that warm ocean water. Having said that, conditions are otherwise kind of favorable in the upper levels of the atmosphere to maintain the circulation for at least a little while. And all along, our greatest concern has been the rainfall, and that's not over with yet.
And Debby's weakening, yes, I guess we can say that's a good thing, right. But what's not good is there's still a lot of water with it, and there will be for a long time.
And slowing down, Corey.
And it's moving
down
slow.
Now at 6 miles per hour, moving to the northeast, so it's just crawling to the northeast. Intensity of Debby is no longer a point, really, quite frankly, quite honestly. It's how fast is this system going to move and finally get out of our hair, get out of northeast Florida and southeast Georgia. Here's the updated track forecast, taking it by shortly after midnight, 2 in the morning, to near just a little north of Folkestone, then takes it back offshore during the day on Wednesday, where it strengthens a little bit, but then heads back to the Carolinas. This part of the forecast is very fuzzy, to say the least. We do have forecast models that back it up again. That does not appear to be the likely scenario. It looks like it would head up the coast. That's what we hope will happen, Corey, because that'll dry us out.
And by Wednesday and Thursday, I think it's safe to say most, if not all, the rain locally is gone.
Yeah, at least of the induced by Debby.
That's a great point.
There'll be a few afternoon storms again.
Back to summer.
Yeah, typical summertime weather patterns. So there's that zoomed-in view, taking it across southeastern Georgia overnight tonight and into early tomorrow morning, then off the coast with yet a second landfall shortly thereafter. Corey, we've just had a flash flood emergency issued for parts of Baker and much of Columbia County.
Yeah, unprecedented rain. We've had some rain gauges measure more than a foot of rain.
This has been an Action News Jax breaking news report.
Duval in Nassau County. So First Alert Doppler HD is lit with the color moderate to heavy rain. There's not a ton of lightning with this, but the rain is really picking up in Jacksonville, downtown, basically out to the Intracoastal Waterway now. That's where the moderate to heavy rain is basically edging out to now, and down to street level mapping. Essentially everybody now inside the Beltway of 295 in Duval. This is at least moderate rain with pockets of heavy rain. I do want to mention St. John's and Putnam County, Mike, there is still the potential for maybe some brief spin-up tornadoes.
Yeah, because these little bands that are out ahead of it, little individual cells, these may try to rotate. Had that happen briefly over southeastern Duval County a little bit earlier this afternoon at about 4 o'clock. So we'll watch for that risk, and then the extremely heavy rain, which is, here's the center of Debby now, and very near that east, it's still essentially an eye wall. It's not a true eye wall because Debby's weakened enough to not have an eye, but north of this line is where the very heavy rain will occur for the next couple of hours. Virtually all of Duval County, Baker, Nassau County, and then all of southeastern Georgia. And if you live in a flood-prone area, you need to stay alert. South of that line, it's much more scattered and sporadic.
And then the tornado threat is mainly going to be near I-95. There's still some of this area in southern Putnam, Flagler, and St. Johns counties. The atmosphere hasn't been as used. Right. We got to watch that over the next couple of hours.
So Corey and I will be back in just a few minutes. We'll time out for you hour by hour these very heavy rain bands and what they mean for you and your neighborhood overnight tonight and into the day tomorrow.
All right, and we're following some breaking news. Here's a live look at McDuff, where officials are working on a crash. Now, JSO JFRD on the scene of this crash is I-10 westbound between McDuff Avenue and Cassett Avenue. As a result, I-10 eastbound and westbound are currently closed for an undetermined time frame. We understand this could possibly involve a JFRD vehicle. Westbound I-10 diverted at McDuff. Eastbound I-10 diverted at Cassett Avenue. Again, JFRD truck possibly involved in a crash. We'll keep an eye on this and much more information as it becomes available.
Governor Ron DeSantis urging Floridians to stay safe as Tropical Storm Debby slowly continues to make its way through Florida. About an hour and a half ago, the governor spoke from Tallahassee, confirming that at least 4 people have died in this storm. The governor also said that even though Debby is now a tropical storm, flooding and power loss are still big concerns.
Now, this did not bring the catastrophic hurricane force winds that we've seen in previous storms like Hurricane Ian, but it has and continues to produce lots of water. The Florida Division of Emergency Management has completed 435 storm-related missions, and they are currently in the process of completing another 400 more.
The governor stressed not to go into floodwaters. You could be hit with heavy debris or be at risk of electrocution if there's a down power line. First, the weather team is going to continue tracking Tropical Storm Debby for you. We have live team coverage spread across our entire area, starting with Action News Jack's Annette Gutierrez. She is in Lake City. And Annette, there were some trees being cut around you earlier.
And Tanika, Lake City hasn't really had much of a dry spell, and even while the conditions have gotten better, we are still seeing the rain. And I just want to show you what's going on behind me. This is some of the damage that Tropical Storm Debby left behind. We have crews here because they tell us there's a broken water line. If you look further down where this crane is, you can see the water that has been building up below this tree, and you can see just how massive this tree was. This home spared the worst of this because it fell just short of landing right on top of the roof, but you can see crews are here actively working to remove this tree so that they can fix the water line that was broken beneath here. And actually, we were here earlier today around noon, and we had some down power lines that were live, but it appears like they aren't anymore since we actually have a lot of crews in this area working to fix another problem. Now, I actually checked FPL's website, and Florida Power and Light is saying that still in this area in Columbia County, nearly 5,000 customers are still without power. We have crews, we have a lot of people here working all day to fix whatever problems that we have here in Lake City. And I've been here, like I said, all day, and there's just debris all over the place. So I know a lot of people don't have power right now, and they are suffering, and they're waiting for it to come back on, but just stay patient. But take a listen to what one person had to say about the storm that came through.
If you want warm weather and you want to live in Florida, you just have to take the hurricanes. You know, the bad weather with the good weather. So it's all good.
Now, our first alert weather team said several areas near Lake City received over a foot of rain, and Columbia County Sheriff's Office is actually saying there are some flooding in the areas. We're actually headed to go check out those flooded spots right now. So stay with Action News Jax as we give you the latest update on Tropical Storm Debby. But for now, for local coverage, you can count on reporting live in Lake City. Annette Gutierrez, Action News Jax.
The base of that tree behind Annette is massive. Now, many flights are canceled or delayed because of Debby, and FlightAware shows 80 cancellations so far at JIA, 40 delays. The most cancellations are from American Airlines and Southwest.
Right now, JEA crews are working to restore power in several neighborhoods. JEA says a downed tree branch knocked out the power to multiple homes near the Sansborough area. Here's a live look at the JEA outage map. Let's see. Right now it's showing about 2,500 customers affected by outages right now. Action News Jack's Robert Grant continues our live team coverage in Memorial Park on Riverside. And Robert, neighbors are bracing for some possible flooding in that area tonight.
Yeah, and the St. Johns River is here behind me. You can see right now water going up and over the seawall here. Now, keep in mind, this is actually as we are approaching a low tide here, high tide later tonight. So neighbors' main concern is with the wind that we're seeing right now mixed with the high tide, what's going to happen as we go later. So they're preparing. We've got some floodgates that these neighbors put up on this building here right along Memorial Park just this afternoon. So they got these up ready to go in case anything does continue along the streets here in Riverside later on tonight. But you take a look at some video from just within the past couple of hours. Now, keep in mind, the balustrades right along Memorial Park, they were destroyed during Hurricane Idalia. That was just less than a year ago. The city did put up a temporary fix, but until there's some permanent change to the seawall here, neighbors are getting ready as those impacts from Debby are lingering, many being reminded of Irma back in 2017.
Extremely concerned about all the flooding. We've been flooded out several times. This area was completely flooded out, and we were shut down, had to move out for a couple of months. Our generator was out.
Yeah, neighbors say just after Irma in 2017, water did reach their generator. They were without power for weeks. Now, and actually, I was just noticing within the past couple of hours, we are starting to see some of the water come up and along the street here. So that was some of their concern, and it could get worse later on into the night as well. Something they'll be watching. Of course, we'll be watching here as well from Riverside. But for now, with local coverage you can count on in Riverside, I'm Robert Grant, Action News Jax.
Action News Jax Ben Ryan continues our team coverage with a tree down in the backyard of a home on the west side.
The good news here is that the tree did not hit the home. Everyone is all right. You can actually see where it snapped in half behind me, landed on top of a zip line that goes through the backyard of this home on No Road on the west side of Jacksonville. It's split into 3 sections here. Just missed the gas tank that they have in the backyard. And then I said it missed the home, and it did by just probably about a foot or two. The branches come just short of the house on both sides here. I was speaking with the homeowner a little bit earlier. She said this happened at 10:30. Here's what she had to say when it happened.
It just cracked, and I heard something, and I did not realize it was my tree. And I came out the bedroom and looked, and it was right there because my glass door is right there. And I said, oh, my God, that's my tree.
Now, the homeowner did say that she's a little bit worried about this tree as the storms continue here in Duval County. As far as the cleanup, well, thankfully, she does own her own landscaping business. For local coverage, you can count on. I'm Ben Ryan, Action News Jax.
Along with Corey Sima, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. And Corey, we are focusing on the center of Debby with very heavy rain, but also the potential for a quick spin-up tornado, especially with this band from eastern Duval down into St. Johns County.
Yeah, from Nocatee essentially down to State Road 16, World Golf Village. There's bursts of heavy rain and wind. We're watching that for those circulations.
Full first alert forecast is minutes away.
Flooding and near blinding rain making it difficult for Floridians hitting the roads coming up. The conditions sending drivers fleeing back home.
I'm an Army veteran and a sheriff, not a politician.
Conservative David Shore tells it like it is.
We need common sense solutions, stop overdevelopment, improve our infrastructure, and get government out of our lives. I'm an Army veteran and a sheriff, not a politician.
Conservative David Shore tells it like it is.
We need common sense solutions, stop overdevelopment, improve our infrastructure, and get government out of our lives.
Hey, I'm Jeff Neff from Better Exterior Solutions. We are the premier provider of hurricane protection products, like our motorized retractable screens, year-round privacy, bug control, and the ability to stop hurricane force winds.
Storm time can be very stressful. Have peace of mind knowing your home is better protected. We believe we have the best team of employees in Northeast Florida, and we'd like to prove it.
Call Better Exterior Solutions today, 904-902-4999.
When bad allergies hit, trust Claritin to keep you in the game. Nothing is proven more effective for 24-hour non-drowsy allergy relief in one pill. Live Claritin Clear.
I have type 2 diabetes, but I manage it well. It's a little pill with a big story to tell. I take once daily Jardiance at each day's start. As time went on, it was easy to see I'm lowering my A1C.
Jardiance works 24/7 in your body to flush out some sugar. And for adults with type 2 diabetes and known heart disease, Jardiance can lower the risk of cardiovascular death too.
Serious side effects may include ketoacidosis that may be fatal, dehydration that can lead to sudden worsening of kidney function, and genital yeast or urinary tract infections. A rare life-threatening bacterial infection in the skin of the perineum could occur. Stop Jardiance and call your doctor right away if you have symptoms of this infection, ketoacidosis, or an allergic reaction. You may have increased risk for lower limb loss. Call your doctor right away if you have symptoms of infection in your legs or feet. Taking Jardiance with a sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar.
Jardiance is really swell, the little pill with the big story to tell.
Do you need full coverage health insurance for you and your family at little or no cost? Call RateQuote now to explore full coverage health insurance.
We're taking a look at some video of the damage caused by Debby in Florida. The heavy rain from Debby overnight sent a tractor trailer over the side of a bridge. This is in Tampa behind me. The driver was killed, and the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office spent hours trying to find the body. Meantime, in Cedar Key, businesses are flooded. You can see the sea of water rushing through the streets of the town. I was in Cedar Key last year for Adalia, and this area of Florida gets it time and time again whenever there's a tropical disturbance. And then this motel also in Cedar Key, nearly halfway covered by rain. You can see the fence, other debris floating here in the water. Also trees just blowing and gusting in the winds.
With Corey Sim, I'm Action News Jack's chief meteorologist Mike Burris in the First Alert Weather Center. Increasingly concerned here, Corey. We've even got a lightning strike. Eastern Duval, northern St. Johns County for a quick spin-up tornado. We do not have a tornado warning in effect. This is very suspicious looking line, though.
Yeah, a lot of the heavy rain is near and north of I-10. The potentially tornadic areas are south of I-10. The atmosphere is a little less worked over. From Nocatee down to World Golf Village, this is what we're watching carefully. Let's
go ahead and take it
full.
full.
To Mike at the wall.
And we're going to show you what we're talking about. Corey's going to drive us around a little bit. We're going to put the winds on here. But anywhere from the World Golf Village, as Corey mentioned, northward to Julington Creek, perhaps maybe a little too far west, but getting close there. There's the World Golf Village. This would be a possible circulation very near the World Golf Village. Also very near Palaca with another cell. This is the kind of day where these spin-ups will pop up. You get a mile or two track at most, but it can be at least very strong winds and possibly tornadoes. Another one, west edge of Nocatee here, along Nocatee Parkway, would be another one to carefully track. If nothing else, I bet we're getting 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts in this line. So heads up, we're going to track this then to the north and to the northeast as it moves from near Nocatee up to Ponte Vedra Beach and nearby spots into Nocatee now. TPC Sawgrass at 522, Ponte Vedra at 525, St. John's River Hospital neighborhood at 528, and Jack's Beach by about 529. And then we've got the second circulation, potential circulation just south of the World Golf Village. That's going to move very quickly to the northeast at some 40 to 50 miles per hour. And that circulation is going to be in the following locations over just the next few minutes. Mirabella at 517. Pretty populated and newer development, of course. World Golf Village at 520, which is only about 3 minutes from now. White's Ford, 522, tiny little community. Hilden at 527, and then Nocatee yet again at 530. Again, these cells will produce blinding rain, hurricane-like conditions. You'll look out the window and you'll be like, oh, Debbie's here. And it's not a hurricane, but it's a really heavy band of rain, and they may quickly produce a tornado with little or no advance warning. Palaca, Putnam County, it's heavy showers here, moving quickly to the north and east. And then we get to the center along I-10 of Debby, and that's where a flash flood emergency remains in effect for western portions of Baker County now and into Columbia County, where more than a foot of rain has fallen. The good news is at least Debbie's moving, and the back edge of the extreme rainfall is moving as well from west to east. But additional flood warnings, flash flood advisories, flash flood warnings are likely, I would think, eastward from here to perhaps Duval, likely Nassau County, and then virtually all of southeastern Georgia as we go through this evening, as this heavy rain continues to translate to the east-northeast. As is typical with landfalling hurricanes, and in this case now a tropical storm, the backside and the underside kind of gets eaten away by dry air. Continental dry air wraps into the circulation. That's good news. That cuts off the rain on the west side. But look at all these bands pouring into southeast Georgia. I cannot emphasize enough, if you live in a flood-prone area north of I-10, stay up to date on the latest forecast and for possibly rapidly rising water. And in southeast Georgia, Waycross, Blackshear to Nahanta, Waynesville, Brunswick, St. Simons Island, Jekyll Island, Cumberland Island, St. Mary's, Kingsland, Folkestone, you are all in a situation that could potentially be very serious when it comes to flooding overnight tonight. Orange Park First Alert Skycam Network, you can see the whitecaps on the St. Johns River. The south and southeast winds, mostly southerly now, are howling up the St. Johns River right into downtown. The next high tide downtown is about 11:30 tonight to midnight, and there may be some additional flooding with the wind orientation there, plus the heavy rain that's falling now. Hour by 7 p.m., that centers near Folkestone of Debby, and then working its way east-northeast. And notice how as we go through the night, the rain becomes more sporadic across especially northeastern Florida, because the drier air is finally starting to win out and wrap around the center. Doesn't mean it's completely dry, but it's not as wet as it is right now. However, not so lucky, southeastern Georgia, which continues to see heavy rain through the day tomorrow. And every once in a while, some of these bands make it still across parts of Baker, Nassau, Duval County, including Metro Jacksonville, as Debby is in no hurry to move away off to the north and east through tomorrow evening, Corey.
Yeah, and Mike, as Debby moves, we're going to see that wind change direction, as the tides are also something that's really important. We're going to go from a south wind now to more of a west and southwest wind tonight and the early part of tomorrow, and then that's going to shift to the north. So when we have a west wind overnight tonight and early tomorrow morning, we may see some water from the St. Johns River that pushes into San Marco. This is a very saturated ground, and so we also have to watch out for the potential that trees could come down. Here are the high tides at the Main Street Bridge just after midnight, early Tuesday at 12:01, and then 12:18 p.m. on Tuesday, and then Wednesday the high tide is at 12:36 a.m. We're thinking by Wednesday the high tides and potential flooding is not as big of a problem. At the Black Creek, Tuesday, high tide is 2:42 tomorrow morning, 2:52 p.m., and then 3:20 a.m. on Wednesday. And then at St. Mary's, we are carefully tracking the St. Mary's River. High tide is at 10:43 p.m., and then Tuesday, 11:07 a.m. and 11:21 p.m. Still one more high tide to go tonight, Mike, along the St. Mary's River.
Yeah, and the St. Mary's River is expected to crest high enough to potentially surround homes. The water, if not get into some homes, we'll update that crest forecast shortly, but it's expected to be at around 20 feet roughly, and the Santa Fe River is now forecast to be in major flood through parts of Columbia County, so we'll be updating those graphics for you. Tracking Debby through Wednesday, but eventually losing its grip on us, and it's more of a typical summertime afternoon, scattered showers and storms right through next weekend, always in view in the upcoming weekend, Saturday and Sunday in the First Alert 7-day forecast. ActionNewsJax.com for free. Remember to download the First Alert weather app.
And wanted to take a moment just to say thanks to our listeners on WOKV. They are simulcasting right along with us until 6:30, so we appreciate you guys for listening in as well. With unpredictable winds and floodwaters, your power could go out at any time. The safety procedures you should follow as you switch on the generators. And for many families, back to school will have to wait. Coming up, the county's delaying the first day due to the storm.
And neighbors in Georgia are hoping their preparations pay off as Debby slowly tracks north. The impacts we're now seeing along the coast.
I'm an Army veteran and a sheriff, not a politician.
Conservative David Shore tells it like it is.
We need common sense solutions, stop overdevelopment, improve our infrastructure, and get government out of our lives. I've spent my career in uniform fighting for the Constitution and our shared conservative values.
David Shore will end benefits for illegals, defend the Second Amendment, and protect the sanctity of life. David Shore fights for us.
When bad allergies hit, trust Claritin to keep you in the game. Nothing is proven more effective for 24-hour non-drowsy allergy relief in one pill. Live Claritin Clear.
Here's the history of glasses. The idea begins in Egypt. The first pair appears in Italy. Ben Franklin invents new lenses. We start Warby Parker. Eyewear without the middleman for an actually fair price. That's the history of glasses and the future. Come see at warbyparker.com.
If you have even one migraine day a week, that's 52 migraine days a year. Days full of family time, playtime, story time. And now it's time to break the cycle with Emgality. Emgality, taken once a month, can help prevent migraine days before they start. It can cut monthly migraine days in half. Don't use if allergic to Emgality. Allergic reactions such as itching, rash, hives, and trouble breathing can occur even days after using. Common side effects include injection site reactions. Ask your doctor about Emgality today.
Take on the day. With Taltz, up to 90% of patients saw a significant improvement of their psoriasis plaques. Some even saw 100% clear skin. And for those with psoriatic arthritis, Taltz reduces joint pain and stiffness. Don't use if you are allergic to Taltz. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. Increased risk of infections and lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about infection symptoms or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop, worsen, or if you had a vaccine or plan to. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Ask your doctor about Taltz.
It's more than a business. It's a relationship. We feel the same way. Local Solutions is your personal partner for all of your integrated marketing needs. Local Solutions, powered by Cox Media Group. Strategic, trusted solutions.
Do you need full coverage health insurance for you and your family at little or no cost? Call RateQuote now to explore full coverage health insurance plans for adults aged 18 to 65 who make more than $22,000 a year. This is not Medicaid or Medicare. This is the healthcare marketplace with the largest selection of subsidized plans through the Affordable Care Act. One call to RateQuote could save you thousands. Agents are standing by. Call now.
Cleaning is a stressful chore. You can scrub by hand all day. There has to be a better way. Now there is.
And in just 3 minutes, H2OMG, you've got hydrogen-infused water. And for a limited...
Tropical storm Debbie's moving very slowly, and of course a big concern is if it stalls. And this puts southeast Georgia in the main track for severe weather. As Action Jack's Brian Monahan reports, Savannah neighbors spent the day getting sandbags.
Here in Savannah, the bands from Tropical Storm Debby continue to sit over the city. You're looking right here behind me. This is the Savannah River. You can see the waves, the surf really churned up right now. Just checked about 2.5 feet of storm surge, another 1.5 feet on top of that. That will raise the water level of the river. Off in the distance, this is the direction these bands of tropical downpours are moving. Now, we've been through some heavy downpours, some heavy bands of rain, and additional rain is going to continue to fall here in Savannah. And the thing to know about this city, it is very low-lying. The drainage system, the storm water system is somewhat antiquated. It's an old system, so it really can get overwhelmed by this rain very quickly. We're expecting 10, 18, 24 inches of rain, historic amounts of rain in just the next couple of days. That means these low-lying areas like we're right along River Street where all the bars, the restaurants are. That's why folks are sandbagging here, because they're getting ready for not only the water rise of the river, but more importantly, all of the flooding that we're going to see here. I'm meteorologist Brian Monahan in Savannah, Georgia.
Good work there by good meteorologist Brian. Thanks very much. I'm Action News Jack's chief meteorologist Mike Burris. Swirl here is Debbie, and it is pouring. I'm getting in pictures now from the Bryceville area, parts of Nassau County, roads covered in water. Tracking the very heavy rain, how long it'll last, which neighborhoods and areas will be hit hardest in your first alert forecast.
Winds and flooding from Debby are causing damage that could take days or weeks to clean up. A close call for a Rebuilt man as a tree came falling down.
I'm an Army veteran and a sheriff, not a politician.
Conservative David Shore tells it like it is.
We need common sense solutions, stop overdevelopment, improve our infrastructure, and get government out of our lives.
At Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet, we take pride in our WOW Partner program. Each month, we partner with local organizations doing good things in the community. Together, we can make dreams come true. That's why we're proud partners of Action News Jack's Family Focus.
Look at this closet. I love it.
It's time to fall in love with your closet or any room in your house. At Closets by Design, we offer something for everyone at a price for anyone. Let us design a unique space that fits your style and budget. Right now, get 18-month financing with 40% off when you call 904-901-7717 or go online today.
I'm an Army veteran and a sheriff, not a politician.
Conservative David Shore tells it like it is.
We need common sense solutions, stop overdevelopment, improve our infrastructure, and get government out of our lives.
Look at this closet. I love it.
It's time to fall in love with your closet or any room in your house. At Closets by Design, we offer something for everyone at a price for anyone. Let us design a unique space that fits your style and budget. Right now, get 18-month financing with 40% off when you call 904-901-7717 or go online today.
When bad allergies hit, trust Claritin to keep you in the game. Nothing is proven more effective for 24-hour non-drowsy allergy relief in one pill. Live Claritin Clear.
Here's the history of glasses. The idea begins in Egypt. The first pair appears in Italy. Ben Franklin invents new lenses. We start Warby Parker. Eyewear without the middleman for an actually fair price. That's the history of glasses and the future. Come see at warbyparker.com.
If you have even one migraine day a week, that's 52 migraine days a year. Days full of family time, playtime, story time. And now it's time to break the cycle with Emgality. Emgality taken once a month can help prevent migraine days before they start. It can cut monthly migraine days in half. Don't use if allergic to Emgality. Allergic reactions such as itching, rash, hives, and trouble breathing can occur even days after using. Common side effects include injection site reactions. Ask your doctor about Emgality today.
This line developing from Duval into St. Johns County, little kinks in it and indications of a circulation. And now the National Weather Service has indeed pulled the trigger on a tornado warning here until 6 o'clock this evening. We are simulcasting on WOKV radio 104.5. So people in their cars on the radio, you don't want to be traveling down I-95 or especially Phillips Highway right now. Palencia, good call,
and
Corey
Nocatee.
Palencia and Nocatee are in particular in line for this possible tornado. There is a very distinct circulation now, side-by-side rotation here. It's it's like this counterclockwise. These dark colors are moving away from the radar. These brighter colors are moving toward the radar. This will cross Highway 1 in minutes. And remember, during a tornado, you stay in the lowest part of the building that you are in. Do not get into an automobile. Get out of mobile homes. Protect your head and face, staying away from windows. Use anything that you have around the house, blankets, pillows to protect your face. And then this will continue northeastbound. Let's track it. Corey, going northeast, I would say at a solid 45, 50 miles per hour.
This is passing just east of Beacon Lake, the new neighborhood.
On 210.
Off of 210, south of Beach Walk. And then this is headed up toward Nocatee. This will be to the north of Palencia, very near Nocatee. Yeah, Mike, these are moving very quickly,
very
40
fast.
to 50.
He's got to go northeast near 50 miles per hour. You don't have much time to act. This looks to be a possible tornado on the ground. Let's check out First Alert Storm Analyst, also Corey. Let's see what we might get there with rotational velocities. You can see it is now moving right across Highway 1 in just a brand new update in the last few seconds. So Hilden now, Nocatee at 533. Even if there's not a tornado on the ground, you may get a burst of wind, 60 to 70 miles per hour. Baptist Health there at 534. TPC Sawgrass at 541. And Ponte Vedra at 544. It also looks like there is a second circulation to the north of that, Corey, which we've seen multiple circulations within this line, but there may be another one there to the north of Nocatee too.
Yeah, I'm actually going to time that out, Mike, because that one looks the
suspicious
same,
as well.
Same level of intensity, or maybe even a little more.
Exactly. So into Palm Valley at 533, Ponte Vedra at 537, Seabreeze Elementary School neighborhood at about 539, Jack's Beach at 541, and St. Johns River Hospital neighborhood also at about 541. These will be fast-moving tornadoes, difficult to see, and locally very damaging. The band itself is producing tremendous rainfall and 50 to 60 miles per hour. You will think that Debby arrived at your doorstep if you're within one of these bands in St. Johns and Duval County. This one near and just east of Durban is particularly concerning right now. And Corey just used the word very suspicious. On the right-hand side, we're now using First Alert Storm Analysts. We've got a lot of tools at our disposal in the First Alert Weather Center, and people that can use them, which is great, too. So, Corey, nice job here as we now look at the rotational velocities here on the right side, and that's literally the rotation of a storm, and that's what a tornado is, right? It's rotating, it's circulating. It's like pulling the plug on the bathtub or the sink, and you see that water start to swirl and go around. Well, that's kind of what's happening within these storm cells, and there are two distinct locations here in St. John's, soon to be into Duval County here, located near and just east of Durban. We're now looking at the debris tracker. It is difficult with tropical tornadoes in particular for the debris tracker to, in general, in my experience, to pick up debris. But it doesn't look like there's a lot there from a debris standpoint at this point. Corey, would you agree?
Yeah, I would definitely agree.
Okay, so now we're back to velocities, and we have multiple circulations, two in particular. This has just crossed Phillips Highway now and is just to the east of Durban, moving through the heart of Nocatee now. It may not be a tornado on the ground, but even if it's not, this is darn strong winds, 50 to 60 miles per hour, may see gusts 70 miles per hour, followed by a second, what appears to be intensifying and tightening circulation to its immediate north, which would be a little north of Nocatee. Corey?
Yeah, we're going to go back to First Alert Doppler HD, Mike. The National Weather Service has chimed in mentioning these two circulations that we have been tracking now for about the last 3 to 4 minutes. Yeah, it's a pair of circulations.
What's NWS seem to think about it? Did they just mention it's two circulations? They didn't have much else to say about it?
That's it. I'll give it another look here. It's moving quickly northeast towards Palm Valley, Ponte Vedra Beach. We have already mentioned those spots. Lifting through Nocatee now and potentially up toward Jacksonville Beach as well. So, yeah, Ponte Vedra, Jacksonville Beach, you're in this tornado warning. These potential circulations or potential tornadoes, these are tracking up toward your neighborhood. So you need to be seeking shelter now, an interior closet or bathroom away from windows. You want to get as many walls in between you and the outside of your house as you can. Ideally, a house, a mobile home is not a good place to be. And a day like today, it's not a bad idea to maybe have a plan to go somewhere else if a tornado does threaten. So these are moving very quickly. And when we track these tropical potential tornadoes or circulations, sometimes the radar data can be behind. So when we're looking at the circulations now, they're probably a little farther to the north and northeast than what we're actually seeing right here on First Alert Doppler HD. So we have the tornado warning until 6. The first circulation is closer to Ponte Vedra and Jacksonville Beach, and it's very near TPC Sawgrass right now. Ponte Vedra proper, 537. Seabreeze Elementary School at 540. Jacks Beach at 541. Neptune Beach then at 543. And then we head down the line back closer to Nocatee, and we have that second circulation. These are north of US 1. So right off the top, we were shouting out Palencia, Beacon Lake. It looks like you all are in the clear, at least for right now. You're still in the tornado warning, and even World Golf Village, you are included in this tornado warning, but the threat area is far to the north of you, east and north of I-95 and east and north of Highway 301, Mike.
And right now is a good time, or sometime this evening, to download your free First Alert weather app. You'll get the updates immediately, as we're seeing here, and I'm seeing on my phone. And we also have Ben Nelson on the radar, the National Weather Service, heck of a meteorologist, working radar and issuing this tornado warning and tracking this right along with us. So good work there, as is usually the case. Looks like that circulation is over the north part of Nocatee, maybe a little, very near, maybe a little west of 20 Mile, Corey, I believe, headed northeast. This is circulation number 1, arguably. The southern circulation, at least, headed into Palm Valley at 540, TPC Sawgrass at 542, and Ponte Vedra then at 544. These are fast-moving circulations, sudden burst of winds at the very least, but possibly
Roscoe
a tornado
Road.
sitting right on Nocatee Parkway, slightly east of Valley Ridge Boulevard. Let's see, you have the subdivisions, the different subdivisions right in here in Nocatee are some of those newer ones, the lakes. Subdivisions would be in the vicinity of this tornado right now. This would be just slightly north and northwest of the Nocatee big shopping area there, the town center of Nocatee. And then this is that second circulation that's crossing Roscoe Boulevard now, headed toward TPC Sawgrass. Pretty strong outbound velocities, in other words, from north to south there, Corey. Not that strong the other direction, but with a tropical system like we've been talking about a lot of times in tropically induced tornadoes, you don't get the classic signature necessarily.
Yeah, if you had been with us, folks, whenever we track tornadoes here on Action News Jax, we look for the green, we look for the red, we look for those to be bright and right next to each other. And we don't usually get that with tropical systems. It is a different setup. It doesn't mean you can't get a tornado. Whenever we look for tropical systems, whenever you start to see the gray or the darker coloring, even though it's still kind of green, this is where circulations develop and where we could potentially have tornadoes. Right now, it looks like we have the one circulation that is lifting to the north of Nocatee, the circulation farther to the north. Mike, at least to me, it looks like it has spread out a little bit. Yep. The National Weather Service has still extended the tornado warning. You see the red lines here that are flashing. I'm going to zoom out the picture, and yeah, so they've narrowed the tornado warning a little bit, but it still does include Jacksonville Beach, and it looks to me essentially all the way up to Mayport. So Mayport, Jacksonville's beaches, down to Ponte Vedra, the circulation in question, the potentially most dangerous part of the storm now, it has cleared Nocatee.
Right.
If you're in Nocatee, you're good. You've been watching this with us, and you can come out of your safe place. Everything's good. But Ponte Vedra, this is where, if a tornado forms, it is going to be near Roscoe, Ponte Vedra,
Jax Beach,
up to the county line, and then Jacksonville Beach, Mike.
In fact, let's show the Jax Beach First Alert Skycam. I believe we have that still looking toward the south from the previous tornado warning. And let's take a look at that. If we can pop it up real quickly here. Jax Beach First Alert Skycam Network right now looking toward the south. That's looking toward the pier. Boy, it's raining.
Torrential rain.
Yeah, torrential rain. Likely wind. Corey is now panning the camera to take a look to the south. So that's to the east, out over the ocean, obviously. You can see the very rough seas and surface.
It's going to be hard to see anything.
It's going to be hard to see. You're right. I hear you, Corey. But at least we have a view toward the south from which the tornado would be moving, if there is one. I also have a report from Catherine in Nocatee, raining very heavily. No surprise there. I also have a report from Trey on Twitter, or as some like to call it, X, that he's reporting no wind of any great consequence in 20 Mile, where he's located. Those are helpful, good reports. These are, if they are bursts of winds and or tornadoes, they would be on a small scale, although the band itself is likely producing winds of 50+ miles per hour within it. And I still am a little curious about the southern end of that line, Corey, which sits to the immediate north of Nocatee in the southern portion of our tornado warning here. That would be just on the Duval, St. Johns County line, which is very near the north edge there of Nocatee. Remember, parts of Nocatee actually go into Duval County. And so then we'll continue to the northeast. Let's go ahead and track the southern end of that. I feel like would be worth our time here, Corey. We also have a notch there on A1A, but that's that second circulation, so it's not surprising. But the southern end of that line will work its way north-northeast bound. Again, they're racing north-northeast, 45 to 50 miles per hour into or near 20 Mile 540 would be right now. And again, I just got that report a few minutes ago. That it doesn't look too bad there at the moment anyway. Palm Valley at 544, TPC Sawgrass at 547, and Ponte Vedra at about 549.
We just got new radar data, Mike. I'm going to bump this up.
Okay, good.
So,
yep, good idea. Because see how fast it's moving? So now that circulation is, as Corey had alluded to earlier, well north of Nocatee. Now into Palm Valley, 542, TPC Sawgrass, 545, Ponte Vedra at 547, South Beach Park and Sunshine Playground neighborhood at about 552. If we put the winds on here, Corey, and we have seen a lightning strike every once in a while. We have not had many lightning strikes. I only point that out because that sometimes can indicate a really intense line of storms or a cell, especially in a tropical system. And Corey, that's concerning now, near and north of Ponte Vedra. That appears to be a new circulation, or perhaps one of the earlier ones, tightening up a little bit, right?
So Ponte Vedra Beach, now we're talking the intersection of JTB and A1A.
Right. Yep, right here.
That may be one of the best circulations I've seen this afternoon.
This could be a tornado on the ground.
This could be a tornado.
Yep.
I'm gonna switch to the debris tracker.
We got.
They're these little spots here and there.
It's hard to know if that's good data, right?
Hard to know for sure. Let me
Could
get
be in
back
its
on
infancy.
Storm Analyst.
Could be in its infancy. Yeah, I was just going to say, First Alert Storm Analyst might help us on this a little bit. So Corey's going back to the other computer. This is going to be very near A1A and Butler Boulevard, moving north-northeast 50 miles per hour. A lot of people in this area, of course, a lot of homes, a lot of businesses, too, on either side of Butler Boulevard here in Ponte Vedra. Marsh Landing would be another spot you'd want to look out for. First Alert Storm Analyst, Corey's going to pop that up right now. What are you seeing?
There is a bloom in the rotational velocity right there, Mike.
Yeah, that's
just south of JTB and A1A.
Yeah.
There's a lot of friction right when we get to the beach. So the boundary between the ocean, which is right here, and then the land, the wind can be doing crazy things. It can slow down. It can speed up, and this is a little concerning if you live just south of JTB. The orange line right here, that's JTB, and then the orange line going up and down is A1A. So I need some more streets on here, but this is
you're going to have
Marlin Avenue,
A1A, Roscoe Boulevard,
Solano Road,
Butler Boulevard,
the
businesses, and homes
east of
either
Marsh
side.
Landing.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't have confirmation of a tornado at this time. It's a pretty good looking signature.
Yeah, and the National Weather Service now mentioning tightening on A1A, Duval St. Johns County line, taking cover if you live in these coastal communities. Would not be surprised if this is a tornado on the ground, and if not, it is likely very high winds at the very least.
We're running out of time here. There's not a lot of land left.
Right, good point.
But there are still plenty of homes north of, in fact, the rotation is maybe moving offshore right now.
Which makes it a water spout.
This is north and northeast of the Ponte Vedra Inn and Club. We do not have a view from our Jacksonville Beach First Alert Skycam network. It is shrouded in rain. I don't remember if we have a view from the DOT First Alert Traffic Camera network all the way out to A1A. It'd be difficult to see even in that torrential rain.
Right. First Alert Weather Team chiming in here. Corey Garrett has actually put his drone up on this cell. When the circulation was passing west of his house, he did not see a lowering, although the clouds were racing to the north. Trevor is very near the couplet. Gusty winds and extremely heavy rain, but no obvious tornado, Trevor's reporting. Maritza's out at dinner. No surprise there, but Maritza reports she didn't see a whole lot in the vicinity of where she was in St. Johns County. But
okay, this is interesting.
This
is interesting. The circulation maybe has jumped. Okay, so when we talk about hurricanes, tropical storms, areas of low pressure, you know, it's not always a straight line. Sometimes tornadoes are. Sometimes hurricanes are. Sometimes they can kind of bounce around and jump around. So we had the circulation very near A1A and JTB, which is down here. It looks like the circulation has maybe reformed more to the north near Jacksonville Beach.
Which makes let's take a look at that Skycam, Corey, looking south on Jack's Beach First Alert Skycam network. And you make a really good point on how these can jump around, and especially a tropical system, and also the friction when you get close to the water. We saw this with a tornado a few years ago in St. Johns County as well, and that one occurred just south of Ponte Vedra Beach in the vicinity of Michler's Landing, and that one tightened up just as it moved toward the coast. So, Corey, this is looking south on Jack's Beach, and as you mentioned earlier, the visibility is poor. It's already pouring here. If there's a tornado here, we're not going to see it until it's essentially moving overhead, more than likely, or at least not very far away, Corey.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. The tornado warning continues for 14 more minutes. The areas of circulation, the potential tornado, if there is one, it's basically right at the coast.
Right.
What we're tracking from Ponte Vedra to Jacksonville Beach, the potential area of concern now is kind of shifted up to Jack's Beach between JTB and Beach Boulevard, where we have a little bit of red mixed in here, and then the green. So I'm actually going to push in a little tighter, Mike, and
we'll
get some
with that.
of
I'm going to check out
the roads on here.
The First Alert Storm Analyst, so you keep working there, Corey, and we want to keep an eye on our Skycam there because this will move essentially right over our Skycam.
Ocean Drive South, 16th Avenue South. This is essentially along and east of A1A. Out to the coast, the tornado warning has been continued by the National Weather Service. Essentially, you know, they're going to let it go until 6 o'clock unless they warrant it needs to be extended or expired before that. Action News Jack's Megan Moriarty.
Hey, Corey.
Getting pounded with rain in Jacksonville Beach.
Corey, take a look at CCs. Go to First Alert Storm Analyst. And this is back just a couple minutes ago. And then I'm going to move it forward. Hard to know that that's a true debris signature, but not out of the question, right?
Yeah, there's just...
It's a little messy.
Whenever there are individual pixels, yeah, that's...
It's a little messy. It's maybe indecisive with a tropical system like this.
And sometimes what you're looking at on a radar, it's bad information. It's bad data.
You can have bad pixels, exactly.
You can have bad pixels, yeah.
Now, we still do, all the way down on that line, Corey, have other circulations apparently trying to still fire in the southern part of that tornado warning there, on that edge of where you see that gradient, where your finger is there.
That's basically where they were earlier.
Right. Seems to be the redevelopment of a few circulations here. This is First Alert Storm Analyst now. So let's go here on the wall here. You can see this is the leading edge. This is the heavy rain on the left side. Now we've moved to First Alert Doppler HD and the wind tracker. This is the velocities. And it's that leading edge right along where you see that sharp gradient there. That's where we're concerned about the possibility of circulations and a tornado developing and moving quickly to the north and to the northeast at about 45 to 50 miles per hour. And you probably put First Alert Storm Analyst on the most recent scan, didn't you, just now, Corey, right? Okay, so we'll go back to First Alert Storm Analyst, and what it's probably going to show you is that those are mainly near the coast. Yeah, exactly. And moving offshore, which is good news because we would most likely have maybe a water spout at this point, and the tornado warning will be allowed to expire at least at 6 o'clock, if not perhaps discontinued a little earlier, because it would appear that the danger now is moving offshore. Having said that, it is still pouring from Atlantic Beach to Neptune Beach to Jax Beach to Ponte Vedra Beach here, but it would appear that the circulations are largely moving offshore now and over the next couple of minutes, Corey, which bodes well for the water spout and/or tornado threat. It would now be mostly a water spout threat.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to First Alert Doppler HD, Mike. The tornado warning continues until 6. That's 11 minutes from now. I got to get the view back up here to Jacksonville Beach. Yeah, there may be a water spout that forms. If you are able to safely take pictures and video, we've gotten some reports down from Nocatee, even up into Nassau County, of some of the flooding. If you're able to safely get video or pictures, whatever it is, we would love to see it. You can email us, weather@actionnewsjacks.com. Find Mike or myself on Twitter/X. Use the hashtag FirstAlertWX. That's short for weather. And, okay, so Ben Nelson, Mike, the tornado warning will be allowed to expire at 6 p.m., Sounds like they're just going to let it go.
Let it ride, right?
For the next 10 minutes. You know, it looks like most of the threat area is pushing out over the ocean. There could be some, back building isn't the right word or phrase, but we could see that circulation kind of jump around like it did. This is the latest velocity scan, the newest radar data. Oh, they expired the tornado warning.
Okay, so there we go.
The tornado warning has essentially been canceled.
And so one other thing here, Corey, I've gotten a few reports from around multiple reports actually from around Nocatee and Ponte Vedra. Here's one from Twitter. I'm on Ponte Vedra Circle. All is okay. A lot of heavy rain. So no reports of damage in the Ponte Vedra Circle area. I mentioned the flooding in Bryceville. I've tweeted out those images. It looks pretty significant. Would not be surprised if additional flood advisories and or warnings are issued eastward into Duval and Nassau County, and then eventually much of southeastern Florida. So to wrap this particular part of our weather forecast up, there are now no longer any tornado warnings in effect. There still are some individual cells racing to the north here through eastern Putnam, western St. Johns County that could produce a quick funnel cloud or tornado and start to rotate with little or no advance notice. So we'll keep you up to date. In the meantime, these bands of very heavy rain continue to move through Duval County with 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts, ponding of water, localized tree damage, and some flooding. All this is working its way into southeast Georgia where tremendous rains are going to fall tonight. Waycross, Blackshear, Nahunta, Brunswick, Woodbine, that is our viewing area. We will cover it extensively, but you need to take proper action in southeast Georgia if you live in a flood-prone area. For Nassau County, you too are in some very heavy rain. Corey's going to take that a little bit to the south here so we can see it. Nassau County's in the very heavy rain. You're going to have a lot of additional rainfall. That includes Fernandina Beach. The center of Debby is now moving into Baker County with extreme rainfall through southern Charlton, northern Baker. This will move across virtually all of Nassau County. So Hilliard, Callahan, Yulee, Fernandina Beach, Amelia Island, you all need to be worried and concerned or up to date on the latest flood advisories and warnings that might be issued, especially if you do live in a flood-prone area, as the center of Debby continues to move east-northeast between about 6 and 8 miles per hour. So all tornado warnings now expired. Tornado watch remains in effect. That means conditions are favorable. We'll keep you updated, of course, literally minute by minute, and we'll go to street-level mapping the next time we see you to show you some of this heaviest rain and in the bands, the flooding that's occurring. In the meantime, we go back to the news desk to Ben and Tanika.
All right, Mike and Corey. Well, right now, let's take a live look at the Jags Stadium. You can see a lot of rain on the lens there. Today's training camp, of course, was impacted by Debby. Action Sports Jack Stuart Weber spoke to head coach Doug Peterson about how that team managed to work around the storm.
Many folks in Northeast Florida had to make adjustments with the weather that Debby brought to our local area, and that includes the Jacksonville Jaguars, who had to close practices both on Sunday and Monday to the public, and on Monday they brought things indoors. Remember, this Jaguars team consists of many players not from Northeast Florida or the state of Florida who are used to what to do when a tropical system comes through your area. For the Jags, it's all about safety.
We spent some time, explaining to them that we live in Florida and the weather can change, in a minute. And I think it's for everybody, even some of the new coaches that are on staff that haven't been, a part of these storms. And, we want to make sure safety first, obviously, and make sure that we either come here safely or get home safely, and if we got to adjust, we adjust.
It'll be back to business as usual on Wednesday. Fans back inside the Miller Electric Center as the Jaguars prepare for preseason game number 1 this Saturday at home at Everbank Stadium. For now, inside the Miller Electric Center, Stuart Weber, Action Sports Jacks.
Tonight, a family's mourning after a teenager was killed when a tree came crashing down because of Debby. This happened in Levy County, where Debby was passing over the area this morning. Investigators say they believe the 13-year-old was sleeping when a tree fell on the mobile home, crushing the 13-year-old in bed. The Levy County Sheriff responded to the scene personally to express his condolences to the family.
His grandparents were in other rooms and in the mobile home, and it barely missed, I know it barely missed the grandfather. This is a 13-year-old.
Now, we're told the grandparents were in the other rooms. As the sheriff mentioned, it barely missed the grandfather. The storm has already taken 2 lives in Dixie County and 1 in Hillsborough.
A family's home in Cocoa Beach was turned over because of winds from Debby. Action News Jack's Melanie Holt spoke with that family.
We decided to go to Publix, which we're blessed that we didn't cook at home. It would have been a disaster. Running gas, during this would have been terrible.
When Josie Romine and Joshua Dillon Fulmer returned to Coco's Sunrise Palms RV Park, this is what they found. Their RV flipped over. An elderly man living in a neighboring RV was here at the time the storm blew through. He was injured when his Coleman RV flipped onto his truck. We're told he's still in the hospital.
Just following God's timing and taking it day by day. That's all I can do right now.
This morning, a county official told us the National Weather Service is aware of all of this damage and is analyzing photos of the damage and corresponding radar imagery to determine the cause of what happened here. At least 4 RVs were damaged in this park, including the Shadow Cruiser, which is now upright because a volunteer crew from Coco, from Synergy Equipment, came and got this RV upright and at least 1 other. The others that were flipped on their sides out here are also upright now, but as you can see here, they were just pushed off of where they were originally parked. Just a lot of damage that folks are assessing right now, but some of them, of course, grateful for the help they've received now. Reporting from Brevard County, Florida, I'm Melanie Holt.
And now the very heavy rain pans, Corey, continue to move across Jacksonville, much of northeast Florida and southeast Georgia. Tremendous rainfall rates over the next couple of hours.
Yeah, and the potential for flooding as well, especially north of I-10.
CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jacks will return after these messages.
I'm an Army veteran and a sheriff, not a politician.
Conservative David Shore tells it like it is.
We need common sense solutions, stop overdevelopment, improve our infrastructure, and get government out of our lives. I'm an Army veteran and a sheriff, not a politician.
Conservative David Shore tells it like it is.
We need common sense solutions, stop overdevelopment, improve our infrastructure, and get government out of our lives.
Strings Sports Brewery. So much more than a sports bar. Strings has live events, including Jaguars All Access during the NFL season. Strings offers fantastic food, including their signature smoked brisket. Strings is family friendly, with a basketball hoop and games for all ages. Strings creates handcrafted brews, from lagers to IPAs and stouts. And for sports, there's no better place in town to watch a game. Strings Sports Brewery. So much more than a sports bar. 9th and Main at Jack's, and coming soon to Jack's Beach.
Liberal career politician Tom Leak or conservative Sheriff David Shore? Leak is a politician endorsed by other politicians. Shore is a Trump conservative who will drain the swamp. Leak voted to give in-state tuition to illegal immigrants and for the biggest gun control law in state history. Shore will end benefits for illegals, defend the Second Amendment, and protect the sanctity of life. Politicians, they like Leak. Sheriff David Shore, he's the conservative we can trust.
When bad allergies hit, trust Claritin to keep you in the game. Nothing is proven more effective for 24-hour non-drowsy allergy relief in one pill. Live Claritin Clear.
Take on the day. With Taltz, up to 90% of patients saw a significant improvement of their psoriasis plaques. Some even saw 100% clear skin. And for those with psoriatic arthritis, Taltz reduces joint pain and stiffness. Don't use if you are allergic to Taltz. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. Increased risk of infections and lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about infections, symptoms, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop, worsen, or if you had a vaccine or plan to. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Ask your doctor about Taltz.
Do you need full coverage health insurance for you and your family at little or no cost? Call RateQuote now to explore full coverage health insurance plans for adults aged 18 to 65 who make more than $22,000 a year. This is not Medicaid or Medicare. This is the healthcare marketplace with the largest selection of subsidized plans through the Affordable Care Act. One call to RateQuote could save you thousands.
It's the pros to keep you comfortable all year long.
Right here. Right now.
In the early hours of the morning, thousands of Florida families woke up to Hurricane Debby knocking on their door.
Now that Hurricane Debby is making landfall, the most important thing to do is to just protect yourself and protect your family.
Our team of storm reporters and meteorologists tracked Debby across Florida into Georgia.
Live in St. Simon's Island, I'm Jake Stofan, Action News Jax.
Although much of our area escaped the brunt of the storm, some were not so lucky. Now at 6, this is continuing coverage of Debby.
Live at 6, CBS 47 Fox 30 Action News Jax begins with First Alert Weather.
And we start things off with a live look at downtown Jacksonville. Can't see much because of all the rain that is coming down right now. And let's take a live look at Tropical Storm Debby, still moving over our area, bringing rain, heavy winds, and lightning since it made landfall almost 12 hours ago. Video now shows damage to a pizza parlor in Lake City because of winds from Debby.
I-95 south of Lem Turner, a semi-truck crashed into the median because of slippery roads. You can see it here. This area was backed up for hours, slowing down traffic. Good evening. I'm Ben Becker.
And I'm Tanika Hughes. The Action News Jax First Alert Weather Team has been bringing you minute-by-minute coverage all day long. And we have live team coverage as crews are covering damage from the west side of Jacksonville to Columbia County and St. Augustine. We're going to get to our crews in just seconds, but we're going to start in our First Alert Weather Center with Chief Meteorologist Mike Burge. Mike, you guys have been tracking this for hours on air, and we also have folks listening in on WOKV.
Right, on 104.5 WOKV, and rain is the story now, Corey, with occasional tornado warnings, although now no tornado warnings are in effect. Story is going to continue to be these very heavy rain bands.
The National Weather Service Service has been paring back the tornado watch. We'll talk about that. It'll extend for some neighborhoods even into this evening and tonight. Rain's the big story, Mike, especially near and north of I-10. For some, it's just beginning.
So let's take a close-up look here as the storm continues. Debbie's center continues to move right very near the Florida-Georgia border, headed to the east-northeast at only 6 or 7 miles per hour. Corey mentioned that the tornado watch will eventually be paired off a little bit on that backside. Once Debbie moves on by, the shear is not favorable for tornadoes, or at least not near as favorable, and that's the point. So eastern part of the circulation, tornadoes possible. Get on the other side, the rain lets up, and the tornado threat is much lower. So here's Duval County, very heavy rain falling over most of the area. There's some lighter spots, but it's a tropical downpours, and the winds are blowing some 40 to 50 miles per hour at times virtually all of Duval County. It's raining. It's just a matter of exactly how intense it is. Nocatee, where we had the tornado warning a little earlier, some heavier showers are moving in with another very heavy shower moving up from central parts of St. Johns County, and these extend down into eastern Putnam County. These little individual bright colors, those little cells, are the ones that will carefully watch that may try to rotate and produce a brief tornado. And then here's the center of Debbie crossing now into Baker County from Columbia County. Very heavy rain. Baxter, Taylor, into McClenny. And there's a new flood advisory, or an updated one, that includes central portions of Baker County. Looks like they're just updating one that was already in existence. And then that will likely be expanded into Nassau County. There's going to be a whole lot of rain for Briceville, Callahan, Hilliard. And by a whole lot, I mean you could get 3 to 6 inches over just the next couple of hours northward through St. George, moving up into Folkestone. Very heavy rain bands as well, as the heaviest of these now moves into Brunswick, St. Simon's Island, arcs all the way back to Nahunda, Blackshear, and Waycross through southeastern portions of Georgia. And with all that rain, the St. Mary's River forecast to crest at 20 feet. Homes along both sides of the river are endangered potentially by water. When it gets to 20 feet, that crest is forecast to be late Wednesday and Wednesday evening, and may have to be updated even once again or multiple times between now and the middle of the week. Corey?
Yeah, Mike, let's talk about some of the rain that has fallen so far. There's some neighborhoods we're going to add some rain to what we are measuring. Out here in Columbia County, most of the rain is over. Northwest Colonial Glen has measured 11 inches of rain. This is our neighborhood weather station network. US 441, 3.62. I think that's an underestimate. And then into Baker County we go. A lot of the rain gauges are measuring 6 to 7 plus inches of rain. And the rain is not done in Baker County, nor for Duval, Nassau, up into southeast Georgia. That's where the rain really is just getting started. And Mike is mentioning the rain amounts we're seeing here are just since midnight. Some of these spots got a lot of rain yesterday, and there will be more tomorrow. And this is kind of a stormy pattern we move into. We'll talk about that First Alert 7-day forecast coming up.
All right, and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis had an update about the storm about 3:30 this afternoon on the progress of storm recovery throughout the state. The governor emphasized the need for safety in the midst of flooding, also down power lines and trees. He also confirmed that 4 people have died as a result of Debbie.
We do think, though, that Floridians heeding the call of being careful, particularly on the roads, has reduced what would otherwise have been, because there's been some nasty conditions out there. So please be very cautious when you're going out. We're going to continue to see some of these.
They have a wide range of databases of resources, including services for seniors and food.
Glenn County Action News Jack's Jake Stofan is in St. Simon's Island, where the wind and rain continues to pick up.
Well, you got that right. I'll tell you, I have one thing in common with the sign here. We're both barely standing through some of these gusts, some of which are very, very intense. You can take a look out at the water here. It takes a lot of wind to move water that fast, and that, significant portions of water. But the story, as it is throughout the state of Florida and Georgia, really is not the wind so much as it is the rain, which has been coming down in absolute buckets and getting worse and worse as the storm gets closer to this area. Now, that's going to saturate the ground. It's going to make this wind more capable of pushing over trees, knocking out power. At last count, there were 37 outages impacting nearly 1,000 customers here in Glenn County, Georgia. We've also seen a lot of people coming out in this weather to get a look. But Glenn County Commission Chair Wayne Neal says, don't go outside if you don't have to. The storm's only going to get worse. If you need to shelter, there's a shelter open.
The main message that we want to get to the people is if you don't have to be out, don't go out right now. The weather, as it sits right now, is not that bad, but it is deteriorating. We have power outages around. We have several traffic signals that aren't working as a result of that. So, if you don't have to be out, don't be out. If you we have our response numbers. We have our response teams ready, stood up. It's a storm unlike most that we've seen in recent years. It's not the wind. It's not the surge of the ocean. It's going to be a rain event, and it could be significant. So we're prepared for that.
And Chairman Neal wanted me to emphasize the shelter that just opened here at 6 p.m. at Sheldon Park. That's primarily for residents who are living in areas that are prone to flooding, not just for necessarily everyone. So they really want people to use that shelter if they are, at risk of having flooding impacts at their home. For local coverage you can count on live in Glenn County, I'm Jake Stofan, Action News Jacks.
Action News Jacks Annette Gutierrez continues her team coverage in Lake City. She's been there since noon, and then a lot of cleanup happening.
Tanika, I'm here in Peacock Terrace in Lake City, and I'll tell you, Tropical Storm Debby knows how to make herself known. She has been here for a while. The rain hasn't let up. While the conditions have gotten a lot better, the mist, my hair was dry when I came out of the car, and you can see it's wet now. But I just want to direct your eyes. You can see the debris here. This tree is on top of the power line. We saw crews working on it earlier, but they have since left. They actually sawed through it right back here. But if you look further down, this whole roadway is actually flooded down in that area, so nobody can get in or out of their homes. Now, I have seen some cars braving those floodwaters, and I highly advise against this because this is very dangerous, as there could be active lines, power lines in that area, and you want to definitely avoid any standing water. It's very dangerous, and there's debris all along this roadway, as you can see. We've seen some cars go in and out, and some of them have been wise and have turned around, and I have been here all day since 10:30 in the morning. Lake City has been receiving a lot of rain. Our first alert weather team says near this area, it has received over a foot of rain and up to 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. I actually spoke with someone earlier today who said she heard some interesting noises in the morning around 5.
And I think there was a tree that went down, and it made just like a boom sound, So you always think a bomb goes off, but it was a tree. And then some of it fell on the roof. So, you kind of wake up, but I was awake anyway.
And so she said she lost her power around 5. I actually spoke with some neighbors in this area who said they also lost their power around 5. I've been monitoring the Florida Power and Light website, and still there are about 4,800 customers without power. I know crews are working hard, but stay patient while they continue to try and restore your power. But for now, for local coverage, you can count on reporting live in Lake City. Annette Gutierrez, Action News Jacks.
And we're finding more damage in Duval County, including Riverside. Action News Jacks' Robert Grant is live there, continuing our team coverage. Robert, you look like you're about to blow away. All right, we lost Robert's mic because of the storm, because of the wind, the rain, too much for the microphone out there. We'll get back to Robert in just a moment, but first talk a little bit about Memorial Park. Of course, we were there last year with the dahlia, caused a lot of damage to the seawall. You can see some of the damage there. That's been an issue time and time again at Memorial Park. For all the years we've been covering hurricanes, it's been a constant issue there, amongst other areas in Riverside. Constant flooding, constant problems. As the First Alert Weather Team would tell you, Mike, Corey, it's just one of those areas that seems to get hit hard every single year.
Yeah, prone, especially with the positioning, Ben, of the system in this case, with Debby being to the west. You have that strong and long fetch of southerly winds right up the St. Johns River, right into downtown.
Direction of travel of the storm impacts the direction the wind blows, and that has a big impact on what neighborhoods along the river see potential flooding. But we've had a lot of flooding out to the west, including a flood emergency for Columbia and Baker County.
That means a really extensive area of flooding is likely and will be spreading eastbound. This driving influences, steering influences for Debby, so far it's allowed it to go to the north and east. But is it as simple as just up and out up the eastern seaboard? We'll explain right after the break.
This is your chance to win a $500 gas card from Gate. Tonight's keyword of the day is trip. Go to actionnewsjax.com now to enter tonight's keyword.
I'm an Army veteran and a sheriff, not a politician.
Conservative David Shore tells it like it is.
We need common sense solutions, stop overdevelopment, improve our infrastructure, and get government out of our lives. I'm an Army veteran and a sheriff, not a politician.
Conservative David Shore tells it like it is.
We need common sense solutions, stop overdevelopment, improve our infrastructure, and get government out of our lives.
At Closets by Design, we offer something for everyone at a price for anyone. Right now, get 18-month financing, 40% off, plus an extra 15% when you call 904-901-7717 or go online today.
With Claritin, relieving your allergies is a walk in the park. Get fast, all-day relief of your worst allergy symptoms, like nasal congestion. Live Claritin Clear.
I have type 2 diabetes, but I manage it well. It's a little pill with a big story to tell. I take once daily Jardiance at each day's start. As time went on, it was easy to see I'm lowering my A1C.
Jardiance works 24/7 in your body to flush out some sugar. And for adults with type 2 diabetes and known heart disease, Jardiance can lower the risk of cardiovascular death too.
Serious side effects may include ketoacidosis that may be fatal, dehydration that can lead to sudden worsening of kidney function, and genital yeast or urinary tract infections. A rare life-threatening bacterial infection in the skin of the perineum could occur. Stop Jardiance and call your doctor right away if you have symptoms of this infection, ketoacidosis, or an allergic reaction. You may have increased risk for lower limb loss. Call your doctor right away if you have symptoms of infection in your legs or feet. Taking Jardiance with a sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar.
Jardiance is really swell, the little pill with the big story to tell.
It's more than a business. It's a relationship. We feel the same way. Local Solutions is your personal partner for all of your integrated marketing needs. Local Solutions powered by Cox Media Group. Strategic, trusted solutions.
Do you need full coverage health insurance for you and your family at little or no cost? Call RateQuote now to explore full coverage health insurance plans for adults aged 18 to 65 who make more than $22,000 a year. This is not Medicaid or Medicare. This is the healthcare marketplace with the largest selection of subsidized plans through the Affordable Care Act. One call to RateQuote could save you thousands. Agents are standing by. Call now.
And we've been taking a look at images from the storm from social media. And here's an image from Sarasota, just some front yards, seeing a lot of water from the rain from today and also from overnight. This was a view from overnight of Tampa Bay. You can see the waves kind of crashing there. And let's go back here to some other video. This was some video from the city of Tallahassee. A lot of trees down on power lines there. And they were just kind of warning people about those down power lines in Tallahassee.
All right, Tanika. So back to Memorial Park. Robert Grant's there live now. Got the microphone all fixed, but still raining, still windy, still stormy. Robert, what do you have?
Yeah, Ben, we had some of those technical difficulties just earlier. That's because of the wind and the rain out here. Now, just for reference, if you live in the Riverside area, it's really windy where we are because there's no buildings to protect us. So just down the street, it's not as bad. But you can see the St. Johns River, that water coming up and over the seawall there, the balustrades. Now, just for reference, low tide here was just about 30 minutes ago. So the concern is for neighbors tonight. That's during high tide. They're worried about that water and that wind coming up and over. I want to walk over here. Some of the buildings, they just got prepared this afternoon, putting out some of these barriers. You can hear me a little bit better over here, too. They put these out this afternoon, trying to prevent any flooding from coming inside. This was one of the buildings that dealt with a lot during Irma back in 2017. Now, if you take a look at some of the video that we got from just earlier today, you can get a closer look at the balustrades here. They were damaged. That was just less than a year ago during Idalia. So neighbors here say until there's a permanent fix with the seawall, they're going to prepare for the absolute worst, and a lot of them being reminded of Irma back in 2017.
Extremely concerned about all the flooding. We've been flooded out several times. This area was completely flooded out, and we were shut down, had to move out for a couple of months. Our generator was out.
In fact, their generator is just on the other side of this wall here, so you can see how easily the water could get into that generator there. Hopefully not the case this time around, but something they'll definitely be watching here in Riverside. For now, with local coverage you can count on in Riverside, I'm Robert Grant, Action News Jax.
Now, First Alert Doppler HD. Always tracking, always alerting.
Well, Debbie's been an interesting storm to track now for, goodness, 8 to 10 days. Came off the coast of Africa more than a week ago, Corey, and the track has been a tough forecast. The models haven't been in agreement. In the end, it's taken that turn to the north and to the northeast through that little alleyway between the two big bubbles of high pressure.
This is First Alert weather. We focus on northeast Florida and southeast Georgia, but our weather here depends on what is happening in other places around the globe, including in the Atlantic, the Bermuda High, high pressure over the western Atlantic, and then this trough was this trough of low pressure up over the Great Lakes earlier this week. Really was one of the keys to where Debbie was going to go.
Let's take a look at this, take it full here, and you can see this is the forecast looking forward now over the next few days, and I point that out because it's cut and dry that Debbie's made its move into Florida. Obviously, the jet stream had dropped far enough south, or as Corey mentioned, the trough of low pressure had dropped far enough south to make that alleyway. The two highs split, and that's the alleyway for Debbie now. However, it's closing that alleyway. The trough is starting to lift out to the north and east. It's leaving Debbie behind. And Debbie's going to come on out as far as it can in that weakness, but then all of a sudden this high pressure strengthens a little bit, spreads out a little bit, and turns Debbie back to the north and west the way it looks. It appears at this point that it stays north and northeast of Jacksonville once it moves on by tonight and tomorrow. But that's something we'll have to carefully watch. Flood watches remain in effect virtually area-wide, and a flood emergency still for parts of Columbia and western Baker County, where the rainfall has been more than a foot, and a number of homes are reported to be surrounded by water. And there's the spin of Debbie, making its way very near the Florida-Georgia border now, moving through northern portions of Baker County. And you noticed in Annette's live report just a few minutes ago how, and she mentioned it too, how it's just a drizzle and the wind's calmed down. That's because the eye has moved on by the center and is pushing on off to the east. All the nasty weather is to the east of that center, and now includes Duval County and much of metro Jacksonville. Very heavy rain at the beaches here, then a bit of a break downtown. Then it picks up again from Briceville to Baldwin. South of there, much of Clay, St. John's, Putnam County, it's much more sporadic, especially when you get to south of Highway 16 here and into Putnam County. It's pockets of showers. Now, any of these could try to rotate and produce a brief tornado or isolated water spout, but it's certainly going to be less rainfall the more south you go, which was our first alert forecast. And then there's the center moving into northern Baker County. And until it moves on by, we'll continue to get a southerly fetch of strong winds, as we saw in Robert's live shot, very heavy rain bands, inches of rain falling in a short period of time. And that includes southeast Georgia, with the very heavy rain moving back into St. Simon's Island and Brunswick right now, along with strong and gusty winds. And these bands will rotate off the Atlantic into southeast Georgia for much of the night, extending as far north as Savannah, where a tornado warning remains in effect there, and Charleston, where travel may not be possible by tomorrow in some areas. So hour by hour this evening, there's the center moving over Folkestone and gradually kind of losing its identity to some degree, but at least drawing in some drier air by late tonight into tomorrow morning. That'll cut off the nonstop heavy rain, but there still will be moisture wrapping around it to produce at least scattered showers and storms, especially for southeast Georgia tomorrow, at times into northeast Florida, and any of those will be capable of being heavy. And here's where it gets blocked by that high pressure area, so it kind of sits here for a while before finally making that shift more to the north and west, Corey.
Yeah, and Mike, we're also watching the direction of the wind and how breezy it's going to be. While a little bit of rain looks to hang around into the day tomorrow, it may just kind of add insult to injury. The ground is saturated. We got to watch out for any trees that could be felled. Those current winds are generally out of the south and southeast for Jacksonville and the beaches. It's a north wind in Valdosta and a southwest wind in Lake City. The winds generally are between about 15 and 30 miles per hour now. And as we go through the day, the rest of today into tonight, those gusts are going to be highest, upwards about 30 to 40 miles per hour across the entire area. You see how the winds, though, are a little bit lighter, closer to the center of, or what will be the center, what's left of it, of Debby. By Tuesday morning, we're going to have a west wind. It'll still be breezy during the day tomorrow in northeast Florida and even up into southeast Georgia, where the rain is going to continue. But the direction of the wind, it impacts what the water does in the St. Johns River. So heads up San Marco, depending on how much rain we actually measure through the rest of the night tonight, there may still be some of the river that pushes into San Marco thanks to that west-southwesterly wind. Then it turns a little more out of the northwest as we get later into the day on Tuesday. And that high tide, it matters tonight and during the day Tuesday. At the Main Street Bridge, high tide is 12:01 a.m. That's just after midnight tonight, and then it's 12:18 p.m. on Tuesday. It looks like those water levels will go down a little bit into the day Wednesday. We're not as concerned about high tide during the day on Wednesday. But, Mike, it doesn't look like the rain is going to stop really anytime soon.
Not completely. We see that dry air trying to wrap around later tonight and tomorrow morning and at least make it a more on and off type thing. But we'll be tracking Debby at least through the middle of the week as it finally starts to pull up the eastern seaboard. Hopefully that's the track it's going to take. Temperatures stay in check at least in the 80s, and then we get back into a more summertime weather pattern, typical for this time of year late in the week through your weekend, always in view in the First Alert 7-day forecast. With highs around 90 and at least scattered afternoon storms, it can be locally heavy, and the Jags home opener for the preseason Saturday evening looks very warm, no surprise, and there is a chance for a storm, especially before kickoff. Well, the latest First Alert weather is at actionnewsjax.com. You can check out my tweets on Instagram at Mike First Alert Facebook fan page and Talking the Tropics with Mike.
I'm an Army veteran and a sheriff, not a politician.
Conservative David Shore tells it like it is.
We need common sense solutions, stop overdevelopment, improve our infrastructure, and get government out of our lives.
Transform your smile at Doctors Lake Family Dental. New patients, walk-ins, and dental emergencies welcome with same-day appointments. With over 40 years of experience, we deliver top-notch dental care, specializing in cosmetic dentistry, dentures, crowns, implant dentures, and bridges. We use the latest state-of-the-art technology to give you that perfect smile. Right now, new patient x-rays and exams are only $150. We accept most insurance plans and have financing to fit all budgets. Doctors Lake Family Dental. Dentistry from the heart.
People ask me, what is the Farah way? The Farah way is listening, understanding, and helping.
When technology moves forward, we stay ahead of the curve. We don't take no for an answer.
We build the cases that are respected by juries and opposing counsel.
Resources resolve results. If you've been hurt, call Farah and Farah.
Farah and Farah, here for you, here for good.
Welcome to Osteen Volkswagen of Jacksonville. When it comes to vehicle selection and competitive pricing, Osteen Volkswagen is the place to come.
With multiple Volkswagen dealerships,
Osteen Volkswagen has the largest inventory available. Buy your new Osteen Volkswagen today.
And receive 3 years of carefree maintenance.
Osteen Volkswagen is located at I-295 and Phillips Highway.
Convenient to both Duval and St. John's. Come see why Osteen Volkswagen is a better car buying experience.
I'm an Army veteran and a sheriff, not a politician.
Conservative David Shore tells it like it is.
We need common sense solutions, stop overdevelopment, improve our infrastructure, and get government out of our lives.
What makes a city great? It's white sandy beaches, beautiful river walks, skyscrapers, restaurants,
festivals, music scene. No.
We know people are what make a city great. And we're here to serve, defend, and stand up for the people that make up ours.
This is our story. This is our city.
This is our home.
And this is our Jax. Farah and Farah.
With Claritin, relieving your allergies is a walk in the park. Get fast, all-day relief of your worst allergy symptoms, like nasal congestion. Live Claritin Clear.
Do you need full coverage health insurance for you and your family at little or no cost? Call RateQuote now to explore full coverage health insurance.
And this is new video out of Cedar Key where Debby caused heavy flooding. This motel has now been hit for a second year in a row after seeing heavy flooding from Hurricane Idalia just one storm season ago. Debby brought about an interesting discovery in the Florida Keys: cocaine. The tide washed ashore 25 packages of coke worth about $1 million. The U.S. Border Patrol says a Good Samaritan discovered the drugs and alerted authorities and gave it all back. Action Shacks continues at 6:30 on Fox 30.
And after the break, our coverage of Debby continues with heavy disruptions along Georgia's coast.
Thousands of sneakers from all the biggest brands, all in stock and ready to ship. Every product at Stadium Goods is authenticated by our expert staff. Find the rarest and most coveted sneakers at Stadium Goods.
Do you need full coverage health insurance for you and your family at little or no cost? Call RateQuote now to explore full coverage health insurance plans for adults aged 18 to 65 who make more than $22,000 a year. This is not Medicaid or Medicare. This is the healthcare marketplace with the largest selection of subsidized plans through the Affordable Care Act. One call to RateQuote could save you thousands. Agents are standing by. Call now.
Cleaning is a stressful chore. You can scrub by hand all day. There has to be a better way. Now there is with the Spinny Scrub, the revolutionary handheld spinning scrub brush that makes cleaning a snap. Make pots and pans shine. Deep clean your grout and tile. Even filthy shoes look like new. The Spinny Scrub is easy to recharge and store away. And with detachable cleaning heads, you can relax and let the Spinny Scrub do all the work. Scan the code on your screen or go to spinnyscrub.com and order your Spinny Scrub today.
As a certified mechanic, I know that when your manufacturer's warranty ends, expensive repairs are likely to begin. That's why I recommend you get a plan from Ox Car Care. When your car breaks down, they'll pay for the repair, not you.
When your vehicle needs repair, take it to your mechanic and Ox will pay them directly.
Ox paid for my $7,200 engine repair.
Call A+ rated Ox Car Care now for a free quote and see how low your monthly payments can be.
We all love recipes with garlic, but trying to use an awkward garlic press makes a smelly mess. Introducing the Great Garlic, your ultimate kitchen companion for effortlessly crushing garlic to perfection. Just place a peeled clove of garlic under the grate, rock it back and forth, and say goodbye to tedious chopping and messy mincing. The Great Garlic ensures consistent results every time. Scan the code on your screen to order your Great Garlic today. This is a limited time offer, so scan now and find out for yourself just how great the Great Garlic is.
This is important news for young adults and parents of children and teens who have been harmed by social media addiction. According to sworn testimony, social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram designed their platforms to lure young people into spending more time viewing them, resulting in social media addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders such as anorexia or bulimia, insomnia, self-harm, suicidal thoughts, suicidal attempts, and even suicide.
I've spent my career in uniform fighting for the Constitution and our shared conservative values.
David Shore will end benefits for illegals, defend the Second Amendment, and protect the sanctity of life. David Shore fights for us.
I've spent my career in uniform fighting for the Constitution and our shared conservative values.
Grant, Action News Jack's Robert Grant, just within the last 10 to 15 minutes. It was very windy in downtown Jacksonville. Even though the rain isn't really heavy now, it's about to pick up, though.
Yeah, the bands of rain are accompanied by wind gusts of at least 40 to 50 miles per hour. Corey's put a line on here that kind of demarks the area where the heaviest rain, very persistent, and flooding will occur over the next few hours north of that line. So again, Duval County, Nassau, Baker, then all of southeast Georgia, and then south of the line, not so much.
And we also have to watch these spots to the south for the potential for a spin-up tornado. We've had a few of those tornado warnings, no confirmed tornadoes, but the atmosphere isn't as worked over down here in southern St. Johns and even into Putnam County. St. Augustine, you're in and out of some rain. Same thing in Palatka, but this is where the highest tornado threat is going to be for the next couple of hours in Northeast Florida, because we're also watching Southeast Georgia.
Sure, and that difference in rainfall from, say, St. Johns and Putnam County versus Duval and Points North, Corey, pretty dramatic, where as much as a foot or more of rain may fall north of I-10, it'll be less than half that for parts of St. Johns and Putnam County. Still indicating the wind here through southeastern portions of Georgia, some gusty winds moving north of Woodbine, west of Brunswick, east of Nahunda, a little bit west of I-95, and a little spot there to watch.
Every now and then you get these little spots where there's a big difference in the color. They're right next together. And yeah, that doesn't have a tornado warning on it. That is north of Woodbine, just on the northwest side of Highway 17 in northern Camden County. But we're going to have to watch these bands, too, for the threat for tornadoes the next couple of hours. From Brunswick, essentially to Nahunda, and then Blackshear and Patterson. Waycross, I think it's going to be north and east of you.
We've had a lot of rain over the last 24 hours or so. We'll take a look at our First Alert Neighborhood Weather Station Tempest Network and the full First Alert forecast in about 15 minutes.
Action News Jack's Jake Stofan continues our team coverage, and he is in St. Simon's Island. And Jake, we can see that wind blowing behind you.
To quote a famous movie, it is officially raining sideways. We've been pointing to the sign for the past couple of hours. It's still hanging in there. I might lose a $10 bet with my photographer, Russ Pine, here if it doesn't fall over before we leave. While the wind is incredibly intense here, this is, as Mike Burrish has been saying all day, a water storm. And those concerns are primarily going to be seen further inland in areas like Brunswick. Now, the reason that's a concern is the ground. It's going to get saturated. You have a bunch of oak trees. You have a bunch of wind still. It's going to make it easier for those trees to be blown over. It's going to make it so people are going to lose power. That's going to hit power lines. At last count, there were 47 power outages in this region, impacting nearly 2,400 customers. The wind is blowing quite a bit right now. This is actually the most intense we've seen it so far. And to think we're really just kind of getting the first wave of this, if you will. The peak sort of impacts are going to be felt much later into the night. So this is just the first taste of Debby. For those who are potentially going to be, thinking we have cars right here, cars driving around in this insane weather. County officials say, please don't do that. If you need to shelter, there's a shelter open. But we don't need people coming out, putting their lives on the line in weather like this.
The main message that we want to get to the people is if you don't have to be out, don't go out right now. The weather, as it sits right now, is not that bad, but it is deteriorating. We have power outages around. We have several traffic signals that aren't working as a result of that. So, if you don't have to be out, don't be out. If we have our response numbers. We have our response teams ready, stood up. It's a storm unlike most that we've seen in recent years. It's not the wind. It's not the surge of the ocean. It's going to be a rain event, and it could be significant. So we're prepared for that.
And if you are living in a flood-prone area, that shelter did just open up about a half an hour ago. That's at Selden Park. And county emergency officials are trying to reiterate this shelter is primarily for people who are living in flood-prone areas. The local coverage you can count on live. St. Simon's Island, Georgia. I'm Jake Stofan. Action News Jax.
Yeah, the wind versus the microphone. Now we head to Action News Jax. Annette Gutierrez. She continues our live team coverage in Lake City. She's been there for several hours today. And Annette, you saw some work being done to try to clean up some of those fallen trees. We can see one behind you.
Tanika, that's right. Crews were working on this tree behind me earlier today, and I actually just want to show you. This is where that tree came from. This is the root, and this is that entire length of the tree. But crews, they were actually working to saw right here and then right here. But you can see that the tree still remains, and it lays on top of the power lines up there. And I actually spoke to some neighbors here, and they say that they still are without power. And if actually you look further down, the ground is saturated, and the the roadway is flooded down beyond that way over there. Some people can't get out of their homes. I've actually seen some people trying to trek the waters. We highly advise against this. Our first alert weather team was saying that in some areas near Lake City, they received over a foot of rain and up to 60-mile-per-hour winds. So it was pretty intense here for a while. And actually, I want you to hear what somebody had to say when they heard a really loud noise around 5 this morning. And so she said she heard that all of this boom, and it turned out a tree fell on top of her near her house. And earlier here around 5, people said that they lost power as well. And so, of course, we have been here all day. I checked Florida Power and Light. Again, still nearly 5,000 customers are without power. So, again, be patient. But for now, for local coverage, you can count on reporting live in Lake City. Annette Gutierrez, Action News Jax.
And our team coverage continues as we look at damage across our area. Action News Jax Ben Ryan is on the west side. Ben, what are you seeing right now?
Yeah, Ben, right now we're on No Road on the west side of Jacksonville. We've been showing you this tree the past couple hours here. It cracked in the backyard of a home here. You can see exactly where it snapped, pretty much uprooted and split into 3 sections here. Thankfully, though, not really causing any sort of damage to the home, just making a mess in the backyard. So the entire family who lives here, they are all okay. But like I said, it broke off into 3 different sections. It could have been a lot worse, and this is part of the reason why. This is the gas tank that they have set up in the backyard, came extremely close. Looks like even one of the branches even touching the side of it here. And let's show you a little bit over here just how close it got to the home itself. Now, when I was talking to the homeowner a little bit earlier, she said this all happened probably around 10:30 this morning. She heard that loud crack, but didn't really know exactly where it was coming from. Take a listen. So she said that essentially she heard a crack again, like I said, around 10:30, 11 o'clock this morning. At first, she said she wasn't sure if it was her home or if it was a tree outside of her house or somewhere else. Now, the main concern moving forward for her is the tree right up there surrounding this little tree house that they have here. So with a lot of the rain, the wind that's still coming through here in Duval County, she's a little concerned about if that's going to be all right. She did say, though, as far as the cleanup efforts here, she owns her own landscaping business, so she's going to get some workers to help them out there, so that's the good news there. And again, no one hurt. We do know that we also saw a tree down in the backyard, just down the street a little bit as well. That one was closer to the road, snapped right in half, but this one was as close to a home as we've seen so far on No Road on the west side of Jacksonville. For local coverage, you can count on. I'm Ben Ryan, Action News Jax.
And this is some video from last year when Idalia hit. Action News Jax Megan Moriarty shows us the damage from the St. Johns River as it knocked out that decorative barrier wall. And she went back there today as Debby moved through to show you the damage it endured this go-round.
Memorial Park is well known for its flooding in past storms, but today the story really is the wind coming from the St. Johns River, smacking the balustrade here, something that is known very well from the last storm with Idalia.
My daughter's visiting from Seattle, and she wanted to see the water here. And I told her that the wall blew out last year when we had that storm, and they didn't fix it yet, which I'm glad, because they may have to do it again.
And what Shirley Love is referencing is this balustrade here, which is intact, but these white barricades here, they're here because they haven't finished fixing this up from the last storm. She was saying that it's probably a good thing since we're seeing high tide here really smack up against it. It's too early to tell if there will be any extensive damage. For local coverage, you can count on in Riverside, Megan Moriarty, Action News Jax.
You continue to track Debby as it moves through Florida. Action News Jax Robert Grant is in Ribault where a tree fell into a neighbor's yard.
And with all the rain here in Ribault, you can see what happened when you throw in some wind as well. This tree coming crashing down onto a gentleman's house here in the Ribault area. This house belongs to Johnny. He's been here more than 60 years. He says this tree has been here basically just as long as he has. Yeah. Johnny, tell me what happened this morning.
Well, it was unrooted, okay, from the
from around here, and it was unrooted, and it just came on top of the house. It's something that was very stunning to me.
What's going through your head? What did it sound like? What were you thinking?
Oh, man, I tell you, I was so relieved when my neighbor came over, and it was breathtaking. It was breathtaking because I didn't know. I thought it was a storm or something like that hit the house.
Thought maybe it was like thunder or something, then you realized a tree.
It was thunder. It was thundering, and then all of a sudden here, I found this tree.
Have you got a chance to look at any of the possible damage as a result from it?
No, I haven't. Only thing about my game room that's busted open, and then up on the eave. Okay.
Well, I mean, the good news, Johnny, at least you are okay. We're happy to see that, at least for right now. But as the First Alert Weather Team has said, with all of the rain and as the ground has already been wet, you got some of that wind, and sometimes this is the concern here. For local coverage you can count on in Ribault, I'm Robert Grant, Action News Jax.
And along with Corey Sim in the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burris. We'll take a look at the impacts hour by hour, Corey.
Yeah, there's still some more rain to come, but we'll also look at how much rain has fallen so far on our First Alert Neighborhood Weather Station network.
When it comes to eating well, Blue Apron makes it easy. Skip the store, save time, and get delicious meals with quality ingredients delivered. Like easy recipes that are nutritionist approved, and pre-made meals that are ready in minutes. Why choose between quality and convenience when you can have the best of both worlds? Blue Apron. Eat well, live well, easily. Start today at blueapron.com.
Do you need full coverage health insurance for you and your family at little or no cost? Call RateQuote now to explore full coverage health insurance plans for adults aged 18 to 65 who make more than $22,000 a year. This is not Medicaid or Medicare. This is the healthcare marketplace with the largest selection of subsidized plans through the Affordable Care Act. One call to RateQuote could save you thousands. Agents are standing by. Call now.
Cleaning is a stressful chore. You can scrub by hand all day. There has to be a better way. Now there is with the Spinny Scrub, the revolutionary handheld spinning scrub brush that makes cleaning a snap. Make pots and pans shine. Deep clean your grout and tile. Even filthy shoes look like new. The Spinny Scrub is easy to recharge and store away. And with detachable cleaning heads, you can relax and let the Spinny Scrub do all the work. Scan the code on your screen or go to spinnyscrub.com and order your Spinny Scrub today.
As a certified mechanic, I know that when your manufacturer's warranty ends, expensive repairs are likely to begin. That's why I recommend you get a plan from Ox Car Care. When your car breaks down, they'll pay for the repair, not you.
When your vehicle needs repair, take it to your mechanic and Ox will pay them directly.
Ox paid for my $7,200 engine repair.
Call A+ rated Ox Car Care now for a free quote and see how low your monthly payments can be.
We all love recipes with garlic, but trying to use an awkward garlic press makes a smelly mess. Introducing the Great Garlic, your ultimate kitchen companion for effortlessly crushing garlic to perfection. Just place a peeled clove of garlic under the grate, rock it back and forth, and say goodbye to tedious chopping and messy mincing. The Great Garlic ensures consistent results every time. Scan the code on your screen to order your Great Garlic today. This is a limited time offer, so scan now and find out for yourself just how great the Great Garlic is.
This is important news for young adults and parents of children and teens who have been harmed by social media addiction. According to sworn testimony, social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram designed their platforms to lure young people into spending more time viewing.
And we continue to track Debbie with our team coverage with Brian Monahan, who's in Savannah, one of the hardest hit areas in the Southeast. He has the latest from the ground.
Here in Savannah, the bands from Tropical Storm Debby continue to sit over the city. You're looking right here behind me. This is the Savannah River. You can see the waves, the surf really churned up right now. Just checked about 2.5 feet of storm surge, another 1.5 feet on top of that. That will raise the water level of the river. Off in the distance, this is the direction these bands of tropical downpours are moving. Now, we've been through some heavy downpours, some heavy bands of rain, and additional rain is going to continue to fall here in Savannah. And the thing to know about this city, it is very low-lying. The drainage system, the stormwater system is somewhat antiquated. It's an old system, so it really can get overwhelmed by this rain very quickly. We're expecting 10, 18, 24 inches of rain, historic amounts of rain in just the next couple of days. That means these low-lying areas like we're right along River Street where all the bars, the restaurants are. That's why folks are sandbagging here, because they're getting ready for not only the water rise of the river, but more importantly, all of the flooding that we're going to see here. I'm meteorologist Brian Monahan in Savannah, Georgia.
And flooded areas can bring out wildlife. The Florida Fish and Wildlife says that alligators and snakes may be seen a bit more. If you see a gator, give it space. Don't go near it. Snakes are more likely to be seen in higher water levels post-storm. We could also see some dead fish. Storms can cause fish kills due to low dissolved oxygen, changes in salinity, and other impacts. So the best thing you can do is just try to avoid floodwaters if at all possible.
Now, First Alert Doppler HD. Always tracking, always alerting.
Something else we can maybe see sometimes, fire ants floating.
Yeah, pretty frequently. Fire ants hate water. And so when you get into flooding situations like this, you will literally see colonies of them. And that's something
go to the top.
You don't want to encounter. That's nothing but trouble. So we may see some of that the next day or two as Debby is working pretty steadily eastbound, a little north of due east, Corey.
Yeah, and there may actually be some weakening here. It looks like the bands are starting to split a little bit.
Right.
There's still a lot of heavy rain that is pushing out of Baker County into Charlton, Nassau, and Duval County.
And one thing about tropical systems overland at night in particular, you will sometimes get bursts of thunderstorms occurring not too far from that center. I would be a bit surprised. I'll be curious to see how this plays out tonight into early tomorrow morning. But I would not be surprised to see another burst somewhere near that center. And if so, that's going to be some very heavy rainfall for somewhere in northeast Florida and probably most likely southeastern parts of Georgia. So let's take a look at this as we watch the spin of Debby now move eastbound and producing the heavy rain over Duval County. Some of the heaviest rain we've seen so far, although many spots had already more than an inch by this morning. Some of the heavier rains right at the coast have moved offshore, then a lot of light to moderate rain, the East Beltway at 295, and then yet another very heavy band here is working into western portions of Duval County, while to the south it's much, much more scattered for Putnam and southern St. Johns County. It'll still pour with this cell moving into St. Augustine, but the rainfall amounts here will be much, much less when you get more to the north, especially north of Highway 16 and particularly near north of Highway 210 in northern St. Johns and Clay County, and then all points north, the I-10 corridor. At least the good news is the backside of Debby is not near as wet as it heads to the east-northeast. There's some drier continental air working away on that west and northwest side. So it's ahead of it to the east where we're seeing the very heavy rain now, working now through much of Nassau County and then eventually into southeastern portions of Georgia. Looks like Debby slows down later tonight and into tomorrow, and that's a concern for, again, especially southeast Georgia where that heavy rain, those bands move in. You can see this very heavy band now through Jekyll Island, St. Simon's Island, and Brunswick with gusty winds, pounding tropical downpours. Another one is headed up through Folkestone and will be into Woodbine and nearby areas soon. And it arcs all the way back here to Blackshear and Waycross. So you can see it's a large envelope of circulation here, and very heavy rain up the I-95 corridor will cause flooding through midweek in places like Savannah and Charleston in what could be some historical rainfall. Meanwhile, in St. Augustine, First Alert Skycam Network right now, there is some rain, and those heavier showers are just getting ready to move in. You can see the flag there and the palm trees still blowing at a pretty good clip as Debby heads east-northeast, and by later tonight will be near the coast with the heaviest rain beginning to wind down, at least becoming more on and off. But even tomorrow, with Debby moving away, there'll be moisture wrapping around its backside that produces every once in a while some bands of showers and storms that may be locally heavy, especially southeast Georgia, but at times in northeastern Florida. So the primary impacts and concerns will be flooding all the way through the day tomorrow, very heavy rain, and water that will continue to enter the water system for a while, causing additional flooding, Corey.
Yeah, and Mike, something we're going to talk about this evening into tonight is if we extend the First Alert Weather Day through the day tomorrow into Wednesday. So we'll talk more about that later tonight on Fox 30 and CBS 47 Action News Jax. Let's take a look at some of our rain amounts today on our neighborhood weather station network powered by Tempest. This is not official weather information from the National Weather Service, but it's what fell maybe in your backyard. So this is in Columbia County. Northwest Colonial Glen has 11.06 right now. I saw you got more than a foot of rain. One of the things that the Tempest weather stations do is they kind of average out or normalize the rain amounts through the day. So earlier today, Northwest Colonial Glen, I saw you had officially more than a foot of rain. In Duval County, there is a wide range. Baldwin is at 6 inches. Mariner Street, 3.77. Out to the beaches, though, 8th Avenue North, 2.73. So those rain amounts are almost halved from western Duval to eastern. The heaviest rain is in western Duval now, or it has fallen. There will be rain, though, spreading out toward the beaches. Also, need to note, this is rain that has fallen just today. And there were some spots, especially near and south of I-10. Last night, they got a ton of rain, including in Baker County and Columbia County. Union and Bradford County got a lot of rain yesterday as well. Here are the Baker County rain amounts. Turner Cemetery Road, 6.94. DG Systech, 6.82. A lot of 6 to 7 inch rain amounts, especially near McClenny. That's where a lot of these stations are. And then in Nassau County, Sunbury Drive, 3.69. Isle of Palms Lane, 2.24, 3.27 down at Northampton. So, Mike, we're going to kind of get back into the summertime swing of storms over the next few days.
Right, not as persistently wet, I guess is the best way to put it, as we continue to track Debby through at least the middle of the week. It at least keeps temperatures a little lower in the 80s and still sky-high humidity. And then by Thursday, Friday, and into your weekend, always in view in the First Alert 7-day forecast, we go back into a more typical weather pattern, late summer, early August pattern, with highs around 90 and scattered afternoon storms that are usually triggered by a sea breeze. Jags' first home game of the season, this preseason game, is in the evening. It will be a hot afternoon and still very warm Saturday night with the scattered storms primarily during the day. All of your latest First Alert weather is at actionnewsjax.com. You can check out our First Alert weather app. You can download that for free for updated weather information and alerts as those warnings are issued.
Stream Action News Jax for local news and 24/7 weather. Action News Jax now. Watch wherever you stream.
I've spent my career in uniform fighting for the Constitution and our shared conservative values.
David Shore will end benefits for illegals, defend the Second Amendment, and protect the sanctity of life. David Shore fights for us.
At Closets by Design, we offer something for everyone at a price for anyone. Right now, get 18-month financing, 40% off, plus an extra 15% when you call 904-901-7717 or go online today.
I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. During this hurricane season, make sure your pets are prepared too. Never leave your pet home alone if you evacuate. Have a 14-day supply of food and water for your pet and include a manual can opener. Make sure you'll have all of your pet's medication. Download the First Alert Weather app, available for free in the App Store.
This hurricane preparation tip is sponsored by American Electrical Contracting, providing emergency backup power needs, new generator installation and replacement, and annual maintenance plans.
I'm an Army veteran and a sheriff, not a politician.
Conservative David Shore tells it like it is.
We need common sense solutions, stop overdevelopment, improve our infrastructure, and get government out of our lives.
Hi, I'm Rick Garcia, Sales Director at Honda of the Avenues. Together with my team, we'd like to offer you the largest selection of new and pre-owned vehicles in the area with the best payment and financing options to fit your needs. New Civics, Accords, CRVs, HRVs, Pilots, Ridgelines, Passports, and Odysseys. All in stock and available for immediate delivery, together with a friendly and low-pressure experience here at Honda of the Avenues, North Florida and South Georgia's Honda Giant. Come by and visit us at Honda of the Avenues.
When bad allergies hit, trust Claritin to keep you in the game. Nothing has proven more effective for 24-hour non-drowsy allergy relief in one pill. Live Claritin Clear.
You need T-Mobile home internet with 5G.
Wait, T-Mobile has home internet?
What a feeling to have T-Mobile now.
Take on the day. With Taltz, up to 90% of patients saw a significant improvement of their psoriasis plaques. Some even saw 100% clear skin. And for those with psoriatic arthritis, Taltz reduces joint pain and stiffness. Don't use if you are allergic to Taltz. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. Increased risk of infections and lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about infections, symptoms, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop, worsen, or if you had a vaccine or plan to. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Ask your doctor about Taltz.
So hopefully you haven't had any problems with your power, but that could change at any moment. So just make sure you're prepared. If you plan to use a generator, make sure that it is outside of your house. Keep it away from any doors and windows. Emergency management experts say you should also keep it dry. Make sure it's out of the rain. And if there's flooding in your neighborhood, the First Alert Weather Team says it's important not to swim, walk, or drive through that flood water.
And families in Sarasota had to be rescued from their homes after flooding from Debby. Take a look here. You can see some of them on boats, their belongings. Everything that they could possibly grab, they got on that airboat. The rescue trucks were just pushing through inches of water to be able to get to people who were stranded.
So, Debbie, we're following her track.
Right.
You know, from North Carolina, so should I tell my family to prepare for it, or
Yeah,
where do we see
I'll
it
tell you
going?
that whole 95 corridor all the way up from Jacksonville up into the Carolinas is going to be a mess and potentially impassable at times with the rain that's expected. You can see on 5-Speed First Alert Doppler HD right now the spin moving into Baker County. Now the good news is the drier side of Debby should be moving into Duval County and Jacksonville later this evening and overnight, so that's good news. It'll take longer for southeast Georgia, but some very heavy rain for the next hour or two. Duval County, several hours, Nassau County, and southeast Georgia much of this evening, but then tapering off west to east later tonight. Still gusty winds, but the heaviest rain for Jacksonville, northeast Florida now over the next hour or two, and then it kind of decreases, Corey. So that's some good news.
Yeah, flooding could be a problem, right?
Ground is saturated, too. We've had a ton of rain. That's not the best news. We got to watch out for trees that could come down with that wet ground.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us for our coverage. Much more for you on ActionNewsJax.com. We'll see you tonight.
Are you